Hey, how's it going, everyone? So I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible, but try and give you as much information as possible regarding my archer build for ICARUS. You can take away from this what you like. This is not the be-all and end-all. You know, there's no right or wrong way about doing a build in ICARUS. This is just what I use. People have asked me for my build, and it's just easier for me to put a video out, to be honest. So I'm just going to show you the loadout, the important things for the loadout that you're going to need if you want to be good, and I'm going to tell you what you can replace this stuff with if you're a newer player. Okay, so first of all, the ST700 chest armor. This is a big help towards the build later game for the plus 2% projectile damage. Again, if you're archer, I'm going to assume you like hunting as well. You will get minus 35% perceived threat, plus 15% crouch movement speed, plus 15% stealth damage if you have the full 5-piece set for the ST700 armor. The next up is the bow. This is the Larkwell Martinez compound bow. This has just been introduced into the game as 2 weeks ago as recording this video. Now it'll give you 125% projectile damage, plus 1 ammo capacity, plus 300 rate of fire per minute, 0.7 seconds reload time. The next up is the Archer's backpack. Now this gives you plus 6 inventory slots, plus 25% reload speed of bows, plus 10% aim speed of bows, plus 10% arrow speed. And the next piece of equipment is the Hark environmental suit. Now, this is just for the perceived threat. You get plus 2 module slots, which I'll talk about in a second. You'll also get a slot for oxygen for your O2 tank, a slot for your water bottle as well, and plus 10% physical resistance. This is always my go-to environmental suit. Okay, now onto the modules. So with this having 2 suit module slots, you can put 2 modules in your chest piece, okay? So for your environmental suit, sorry. So I always go 2 mass dampeners, depending on the mission. If not, I'll use a Larkwell Boss module, as I won't waste a talent point on it. I use these so I get an extra 10% movement speed overall. So the Flint arrow is basically just leather, sticks, and iron ore. And it does between 63 and 70 projectile damage, plus 15% critical damage, 30% projectile break chance. So you have a chance of getting it back, but it's that extra 15% critical damage. So the bows I'd recommend you to use before getting the Larkwell Martinez bow is unlocking the basic bow in tier 1 first. Unlocking stone and bow and arrows. This will tide you over to get the tier 2. Once you get the tier 2, you want to be going directly and unlocking the longbow when possible. And then using the stone, bone, and then unlocking the flint arrow. So you can either use the stone, bone, or flint arrow, but I'd recommend combining the flint arrow with the longbow. But this longbow served me well, and I would still use it today if the Martinez bow wasn't in the game, because I just love the longbow. It never faulted me. I'd highly recommend using longbow until you can get the Ren and exotics, so you can afford to get the Martinez bow. I really wouldn't waste your resources on getting any of these bows here. It's just a complete waste of time. Now, the experienced people who are going to be watching this video are going to go about, Fortizar, why don't you just unlock some of the arrows, like these Aruda arrows and stuff like that? You legit, unless you've got Ren and exotics or whatever to burn, and loads of inventory slots to drop down in your drop pod with, fine, go for this. But honestly, flint arrows and bone arrows are so easy to make. I just recommend doing that. As you can see, I don't have these unlocked. I don't see any need for them whatsoever for me personally, but if you want to go ahead and check through all of the variations of arrows and stuff you can get from the workshop, go right ahead. And next up is the backpack. This is actually quite easy to get, and you'll be able to get this within a couple of missions. So the backpack is only here. You have to unlock the survival backpack first and research it. You don't have to craft it, you can just research it. And she has the archer's backpack here. It's really easy to get, but like I said, you will need 150 exotics. Now, if you're ever in my live streams and you're a new player and you haven't got any exotics and I'm ever doing exotic runs, I'm always giving loads out to the community from my missions. Now, in regard to the environmental suit, which I recommend is the Hark. And it looks really far across here, but it's actually quite simple to get, and it's only 200 Ren and 100 Ren to craft. Here is the Larkwell Martinez bow just along the pipeline here. Again, this is expensive, but it's not out of the realms of like not being able to get this quite quick. A little bit of farming and you can probably get this within a couple of days, even as a new player. And lastly is the mass dampener modules. This is really easy to get, super cheap. So it's right on the first list here. And it's 75 Ren to research and 50 to craft. Okay, so now onto my talents. Now, a lot of the stamina ones I've kind of skipped over because I had to think about more of the end game talents. So I've got easy draw just set to 1 along with quick load. So this is reload speed of bows and 5% consumed by bow actions. Next up is I've only got 1 in aim speed with bows and 3% arrow speed. Again, I've got the wear rate of bows at 20%. In an ideal world, I'd have this on 3 of 3. And the last one here has 10% chance to slow a hit with bows. Now, I've only got this as 2 of 3 because this triggers for me more often than not. The amount of times I do this on bears and it just stops them in the, like, it just stops them. Like, the amount of times it happens, it's just crazy. So I thought putting a 3rd in there would just be crazy and a waste. But everything else, I've got maxed out here on the end of the combat trait for bows. Now onto the survival tab. I have Robust Explorer, 3 of 3. Swift Survivor, 3 of 3 for the movement speed. Just in case I'm playing with anyone, I've got Field Medic. But I've always got these maxed out for Storm Chaser and Weathering the Storm, so plus 15 exposure resistance and plus 30% stamina regen during a storm. And then I've got the 3 biome specific unlocked as well, so I can survive longer in the said biomes. And on the resources side, this is because this is my exotic character. I've got, so I can carry more exotics basically and faster movement with exotics. Now into my solo. The only thing you really need to pay attention of here is Horned Heads, plus 10% damage with bows, plus 10% reload speeds with bows and crossbows. That's the only important one here really. And health monitor, can see the creature alert level and health. Bear in mind these only work during solo play. Alright, so now I'm going to just show you footage of me fighting the Jaguar Boss. This footage is going to be from on stream, and then it's going to transition to me fighting the Sandworm Boss. If you found this helpful, I'd appreciate it if you did like the video. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another video or live stream, and turn your notifications on. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next video or live stream.